Welcome, students. We are going to be designing a ruler like this so that you can use this at home as we do this distance learning. And you're going to be able to customize it and put it whatever you want on there. You can say some nerdy stuff about rulers. Like I said, one ruler to rule them all. Like if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you know what I'm talking about there. All right, so let's jump right in. We're not going to actually be designing the whole ruler. I'm just doing this one real fast for you. All the lines and stuff are already pre-done for you. I'm gonna have that file for you, and I'm gonna be able to print everybody's at once real fast. So you're strictly just making some words to go on it. But what we're going to try and do here is to make sure that it fits on here and is the correct size so that we don't cover up all those little markings that we need on our ruler. So let's get started. We need to first change this into inches. So let's come over here to inches. We want to deal with inches here. And then we're going to come over here and grab a box that's going to represent the area that we are going to be able to put our design in. So this box is not going to be actually part of the final product. So we want this to be 1/2 inch or 0.5 tall. We want this to be 6 inches long. So our last project was our name tag. This one's pretty similar. We're strictly putting some cool designs in there, right? So let's look at this from the top view. And now you can start throwing things in there as much as you want, right? So maybe if you want some words in there, you can type something in there like I rule maybe. Haha, it's going to be on a ruler. And you can resize that however you want. Don't go outside those lines though. If it's snapping like this and you don't like either of those spots, that's because the snap grid down here in the bottom right, you can turn that off if you like. And now you can place the, excuse me. Let's make that shorter so we can see it a little better. Now you can place that wherever you want and it won't be an issue. Notice what I did just now is this box was getting in the way, so I just grabbed that white handle and drug it down so that I can see my layers there a little better. All right, that might help you out when you get stuck. Some of us were running into that issue already. So I really recommend using that top view and turning on the flat view also. Notice when you first come in, it's going to be like you're kind of looking at the side of it a little bit. You click this and switch to flat view, or orthographic is the real name for that. That's going to help you out. And you can really start throwing whatever shapes you want on there. Remember, they have to be kind of flat on the bottom shapes. It's going to make it better. You can put a circle on there. You can put whatever you want. Remember, you're not limited to just these shapes. If you want to go into shape generators and go featured, you can find all sorts of other stuff there, or even all would show you all of them. You can find the states. You can go through this pages after pages after pages of all this stuff. Keep going, or go crazy and put some things together. I made this little man, and I want to put this little guy on there. And he's going to be like running around or something like that, maybe. Right? And you might say, well, Mr. Gasser, how did you make that little awesome person thing, whatever you want to call it? Well, let's look at that. I'm going to make that bigger again so we can see it a lot easier. And I'm going to ungroup this. And you can see all this is a circle for the top, a rectangle or a square that I made the skinny body out of, and then some arms. And I'm not telling you that you have to make a little person right now. I'm just saying it's an option. You can put things together and make other cool shapes here. I want you to play around with this and get creative and not just stop at step one. So you can put a leg on there. If I copy that or push the duplicate button there, now I have two. And put the other leg on there too. And there's a little person, right? So you can add things together to make little something that looks like a dog, something that looks whatever you want, right? And then you have to fit it all on here before we go, right? So I want to get rid of this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to group that one, group that one. I'm going to make them a lot smaller. Woo! I'm going to make this one a lot smaller. I'm going to zoom in there too. I'm going to put them on the space. Now we are ready to export this. So once you're done, it's all in the right spots and it's looking good, you are going to export your design, whatever it is. It can be anything that you want as long as it's appropriate. So when we're ready to export, I would like you to click on all the parts we're going to use, right? So if I say export right now, it's going to grab everything in the design. And as we kind of mentioned, I don't really want this gray part in the back. So let's click first on the parts we do want. So the eye rule and the two little people and the circle. And we're going to say export. And notice this time we're saying everything, only the selected 4 shapes. We do not want to export everything. And we're going to export those 4 shapes only. We're not using the 3D printer today. We're using the laser cutter, so we need to click laser cutter. Then that file is going to show up. It's going to look a little different on your computer. It's going to go into your Google Drive, and that's what you can upload onto our Google Classroom. And if you're getting any sort of issues, the last thing, this one, a lot of people have this issue. If you look at your project from an angle and it's not touching this blue surface, I think we've mentioned this before, like if it's up here, that would not show up. It needs to be touching this flat blue surface for it to work for the laser cutter. All right, have fun. I'll be in the Google Meet to give you some tips and help. Let me know if you need anything. Bye-bye.